Hello and welcome to episode 256 of Drink the Movies. I'm Brian here as always with Michaela and back again this month for a video episode. So Michaela, how are you doing? Happy Valentine's Day. We're recording this on the 15th. So technically Valentine's Day was yesterday. Hopefully you got some of those candy hearts that say be mine or something like that. Did you get any of those? A box of
No.
chocolates? Teddy bear that was like the size of a car? What'd you get?
No.
Anything? Anything? Did you get
No.
love? Did you get love?
I didn't. I mean, I carry the love in my heart all the
Belated
time.
love from me to you. There you go.
There we are. Um, no, yeah, Valentine's is such a funny, like people either love it or hate it. I feel like it's such a divisive holiday. You got
Mm-hmm.
Galentines for girls that just want to hang out with their girlfriends, and
Yeah.
just
hmm hmm
you got like Valentine's at school, which always feels like a thing you phone in, especially now. You don't even make your own Valentines. You just go to the store and buy them, and like you have to give them to everybody. Um, and then there's like the new love. There's the new
hmm
love Valentines, and then there's the people who've been together forever. I mean, what did you guys do? What did you
Love
and your
yourself,
bride
love
do?
yourself. We were getting ready to move, so I'm recording my brand new little recording booth, so that's exciting. So we're getting ready to move. So like the house was empty. We didn't want to go out to dinner because that's like amateur hour going out on Valentine's Day. Like you're trying to
Fair.
prove something if you go out on Valentine's Day night, is what I say. And my in-laws also flew in yesterday. So what I did was I went and I bought some chicken and I bought some steak and I bought some lobster and I made a whole dinner at our house. So that was nice, and we just kind of hung out right with the whole family. It was a whole family affair doing Valentine's Day, but it was good. It was good. It was nice getting to see them and yeah, have the move coming up this week. So it's very stressful, but it was nice to have a little nice little Valentine's Day kind of thing. And I also got some Star Wars chocolates. So that's nice. That's nice too.
That is
One of
cool.
the things we did for Valentine's Day that the whole world did, because it seems like as of this recording, it's already made like a truckload of money they decided for the weekend. But we went and saw Wuthering Heights. It just came out on February the 13th, and I think we were in like the first showing, maybe at least at our local Regal. Pretty full house, pretty full house. I will say a lot of Galentines there, I guess, probably, or a little pregame before you go out to the restaurant for Valentine's Day. I don't know for sure, but we stepped into the theater at 4 p.m. and we took
Mm.
in Wuthering Heights, and that is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to do a cocktail that you came up with, Michaela. It is very excellent. It is very pink. I've got one right here, so I'm going to sip it as we watch the video. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about kind of the book of Wuthering Heights here once we finish the cocktail. But what were, I guess, your expectations? I think you and I had seen this preview several times, coming into this, and we were both very excited for it. As a lot of things that we liked. Emerald Fennell, we both like as a director. Margot Robbie, of course, is great. Jacob Elordi seems like he can do no wrong in the world at the moment. So we were both very excited for it. Did you have any kind of like expectations, or just what was your hype level? I hate that word,
Uh,
hype level. I hate that.
uh,
I hate that I said it, but I meant it. So.
um, it was pretty high. I mean, I thought it was going to be very physical. It was going to be, I mean, the preview itself was pretty erotic. I never thought making bread was sexy before, but it is. Spoiler warning, it is. But I just thought it was going to be. What I loved about it is when you see the title, it's in quotes, Wuthering Heights. So that
Mhm.
led me to believe that it was probably going to stray from the plot a bit, if not a whole lot. But it really seemed to be focused on the two main characters, Kathy and Heathcliff, and really focused on that relationship. So I was expecting to both like shake and cry, and I did both. There were moments where I
Spoiler
thought I was
warning
going to
there.
melt into the
Both of
seat,
those
and then
things, both of those things happened.
yeah,
I thought
and
you were also going to melt into the seat. That is true. That's true.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so
yeah.
we were both ready for that. I guess you were wise and brought some tissues into the theater. We'll probably talk about that here as we get going too. But first, we need to figure out how to make this cocktail, and Michaela
Mm.
made one on video for us. So let's go ahead and go over to that.
Hi, happy Valentine's Day. It's Michaela from Drink the Movies, and we're making a Valentine's Day worthy cocktail from the new movie, Wuthering Heights. So I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I am going to tell you that there is a scene with a giant strawberry in it. Giant. It's probably this big, maybe. I don't know. But what we're going to do is we're going to take 4 to 5 strawberries, And don't worry about cutting them into pieces because we're going to muddle them. All right. And you're going to put them in a shaker tin. I can speak. I really can. So you're going to take a muddler and you're going to muddle these things in together until they're all mushy and juicy. All right. And what we just really want is the juice to come out. Don't worry about the seeds because we're going to double strain this. And don't worry about the green because we're going to double strain it. Okay. All right. Then we're going to take 3/4 of an ounce of honey syrup. This I made last night. It's super easy. You just take honey and you mix it with water, a little bit of water because you want it to be very viscous. Okay. And you heat it until the honey kind of melts. You don't need to do much else. Do not boil it. But it's super easy. And then you put it back in the fridge and you deliciously enjoy it. We're going to add 2 ounces of any kind of gin you want. I wanted something that's a little floral. This is Hendrick's Flora Adora. If you can find it, it's really amazing. 2 ounces of that. Okay. Then I'm going to take 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. If you don't have fresh, it's okay, but you really should use fresh. Okay. And then you're going to take the sprig of 1 strand of thyme. This is thyme. It's fresh. I just got it from my garden that I'm starting this year. And what you're going to do is you're going to hold it like this and you're going to take all of the little green bits off. And you're going to put that in there too. Now, don't worry. We're going to double strain this. So if you don't think that's enough, you can put some more in. But it's the little green bits that we're paying attention to here. Okay. And you're, oh my gosh. So I did that because we're talking about the English moors. And I don't know, it seemed very vegetal and beautiful. Then you're gonna shake it. And then we are going to double strain it, which means I need to have my strainer. Here we go. You're gonna double strain it. It's really important you do that or you're gonna get lots of little bits into your pretty cocktail. And you don't want that, okay? Now this doesn't look like very much, and that's okay for now. Here we go. Beautiful. Now I'm going to leave this here to strain real quick while I open the secret ingredient. So this is a small cocktail. It's not very big. It's only a couple ounces because we're going to add some Prosecco or Cava or any sort of sparkling anything. This is Wycliffe. It's what I have. Don't judge me. I mean, you can judge me, but I don't care. So what you're going to do is this is almost done straining is you're going to pour. Come on now. Just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. You're going to just top this. Look at that. Oop. There you go. A drink that hopefully Heathcliff and Kathy would have enjoyed. Happy Valentine's Day.
All right, happy Valentine's Day indeed. So yeah, so that was the cocktail that you made. I've got one right here. I've been sipping on it as we've been watching that. And Michaela, I have one problem with that. You're using the Wycliffe, which is fine. You love a Wycliffe, right? That's just something we've come to accept here on Drink the Movies. But you should have said that this is Wycliffe. I named it, so I can do whatever I want with it. It was right there. It's so close to Heathcliff. You totally botched it.
Oh, I totally could have. I could have. Yeah. Didn't see that one coming. But yeah, this is an original. And it's interesting because we don't do a lot of originals. We do some. I'm very proud of the ones that we've done. I think the first one we ever did was Good Will Hunting. And we did like a caramel apple martini, and that was really delicious. But this was really inspired. I really gave it a good think. And And it's not very hard to make if you have all the ingredients. I think the hardest thing is the honey syrup, which is, I talk about it when I'm making it, but this is really lovely. And you don't have to have any special gin. I use the Hendrix Flora because it was English and because I wanted something really floral since we were basically steeping this in flowers. And the garnish you didn't see in the video, but it looks so
Mhm.
pretty with just a sprig of the thyme and some edible flowers. Um,
Yeah, no,
kind of a
it looked really great. You sent me the pictures of it this morning, and I was like, "Holy smokes, that's maybe like the, well, what one of the best cocktails that we've made, but definitely some good pictures there." So that is it. Cheers. That's very very nice. I love kind of the thyme honey bit to it. There is really nice with the gin. You're using the Hendrix gin. I'm using a Plymouth gin because it's also an English gin. I wanted to do something from England there as well for myself, and then I'm using just a pretty inexpensive cava in mine. Now, if you want to use the Wycliffe, that's fine. If you want to use like a prosecco, that's probably fine too. I think that this drink with the honey and the thyme and the gin, if you use you wouldn't have necessarily have to use like a champagne, but if you use like a Cremant from
mm,
France or a nice cava that's going to go through kind of that in the bottle uh, uh, affirmation there of that. I think it's going to give you a little bit more kind of bready notes to that, and I think that that's going to
mhm.
pair up really, really nicely. If you want to go through with that, a bottle of Cremant is going to set you back 20 to 30 bucks, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive. A nice bottle of Cava, probably like 15 to $20. It's definitely a little bit more expensive, but if you're doing something, really nice or celebrating like Valentine's Day and you're already, spending like $100 a pound on steak, then maybe go ahead and splurge there for that. But really, you could use any kind of sparkling thing you want to. You could probably even get away with using some club soda if you just wanted a little bit of effervescence and just have this feature more as just a straight up gin drink. So, yeah, this is really lovely. So definitely give it a try. Or if you have anything, we actually did some cocktails at the Regal Theater. I didn't put a picture of them up here, but the one we had for there was really, really nice. I think it was probably the
Yeah.
best Regal cocktail that I remember having. Truth be
It
told, truth be told.
Yeah, yeah. And we had a couple of them. We had one and it was like white, even though it looked pink in the picture. And then we came out after because your girl here needed another drink. I was a
She
state
specifically
and
needed a shot, she said, and
I did
that turned into a whole drink.
turned into a whole drink because yeah. And he made it pink. He was like, I don't know why they don't use the pink luster dust or whatever, but it was lovely. And it was a gin drink too, of course, because it's English. Really, really good. So definitely the best one I've had at Regal,
Yeah, for
hands
sure.
down.
For a
Yeah,
long time at least, absolutely one of
yeah.
the best. So that was nice. So let's go ahead and get into the movie. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about Wuthering Heights. We're not going to get into to too much like spoilery story kind of things too much, but just kind of talk about the movie overall, and then just talk about a few other romantic love story. Other movies that make Michaela cry as well. We're going to talk about that. We got some feedback from some fans, so we want to go over those as well. So let's go ahead and get into Wuthering Heights. So we mentioned,
Wuthering Heights.
Michaela, that this was something we were both definitely looking forward to. We went and saw it on Thursday. So let's talk about it. So let's kick it off with the good old spoiler warning.
Okay, spoiler warning for Wuthering Heights. If you've not seen this version of Wuthering Heights, we're going to talk a little bit about it, not too much. I'm going to try not to spoil the ending, but if you've read the book, this is not that. That's why there's quotations. I'm sure of it. But this looks like the 1970s version. It just the picture itself just looks like something from the 70s, like a gothic romance from 72 or whatever. It's got that crushing, like he's crushing him to her or whatever. Um,
Mhm.
it looks amazing. But yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about it and the book as well. If you've not read the book, I don't think you really need to see this movie. I'm just saying that. Some
And
people,
if the internet's to be trusted, you should never read the book and then watch the movie of anything. Apparently, uh, is
fair. It's
is the
fair.
takeaway I've got there. Yeah, spoiler warning for Wuthering Heights. Like I said, we're not going to get into too much of this because this just released on February the 13th, 2026, and it was directed by Emerald Fennell, and it stars Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi as Catherine and Heathcliff. So, This, of course, was based on the very famous novel of the same name, Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë. It comes out in 1847. And fun, interesting fact that I learned very recently about the novel Wuthering Heights, also very divisive when it came out, in terms of people liking it, not understanding it, and not understanding why it would ever even exist in the noble 1800s. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And a lot of the things that I've seen about this online are, directly comparing it to the book. I think there was a lot of like bad faith out there because people are like Emerald Fennell, she made that weird Saltburn movie that had a bunch of weird like sex stuff in it. I don't like that. I don't like that. We're Puritans here in this country. We can't handle it. So I think a lot of it had to do with that. But a lot of people were comparing it thusly to the book. Now, we just had the film Frankenstein came out this year,
Mm.
right? Which was very much, kind of Guillermo del Toro like
Mhm.
rethinking of what Frankenstein was going to be. I think there's been something like, I don't know, like 14 Frankenstein films or something. So why do you
Yeah.
need another Frankenstein film? If you're a purist for the Wuthering Heights book, I have good news for you because there are approximately 40 adaptations and feature-length films, television films, and television miniseries. So certainly there's one out there that's going to pair up with the book to your liking. But the real reason you make any sort of tale like this that's been retold 40 times is because you want to put your own spin on it. And if you know anything about Emerald Fennell, this seems very Emerald Fennell-esque.
Sure does. Yep. Yep. I mean, there's something about making a whole room based on someone's skin and actually then doing it. Like there's a room that somebody makes in honor of Catherine, and it's supposed to be her skin. And in fact, it is. You sent me this article. They took Margot Robbie's skin and they took pictures of it, and then they created like a fabric wall for it. Oh my gosh, yeah. So things like that. That didn't happen, I don't think, in the
I don't think
original.
in
I think that's an
1847,
Emerald
I don't
Fennel
think I
thing.
don't think that was a thing that happened. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah, but I'm okay. I was there for it. It was great.
yeah, Emerald Fennell has done some things. She won an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay for Promising Young Woman, and that was also nominated for Best Picture and something else, I
Mhm.
think, as well that year. Also, I believe has won or been nominated for Emmy Awards for Killing Eve as well. So, very good writer and very good at seeing these things come together. But we both really, really liked Promising Young Woman. We both, I believe, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm pretty sure we both really, really liked Saltburn as well. So we were interested to see this. It was interesting to learn then that Margot Robbie had, obviously was a producer here on Wuthering Heights, but had also produced those previous two films as well. So apparently, Emerald Fennell and Margot Robbie have this, very good working relationship. So I guess it makes sense that she would go on to be the, kind of the character here to lead the way in this tale. So, Michaela, let's talk about the movie a little bit. Like I said, I don't want to get into, kind of too many of the plot points here of the film, but expected this to be, kind of, very like electrically charged, and I think that it was that. I do think that maybe the trailer like oversold that a little bit to that end. But the one thing that I wanted to talk about first here was just the cinematography for this because this thing looked stunning. It looked beautiful. It looked I don't know. I was thinking about it a little bit more and more because on one hand it looks very big and vast, right? You're in like
Mm.
the English like meadows and like the highlands or the
The
moors or
Moors.
whatever they're
Hmm.
they're called there. So it's very like vast and hilly and foggy and smoky. It's very rainy day to day, of course, because it's England and things like that. But the way that it was shot, and I don't know if this was just like the location they were shooting on or if they were shooting it, kind of with some post-production kind of a thing, but all the characters and things were in the foreground and then, it's this giant expanse in the background, but it felt very much to me like you were watching this like alongside of the characters, almost kind of in
Mm.
sort of like this like fish tank kind of a thing where you could see like externally like out into the world, but we were here kind of insular like in this like almost like trapped like predicament that they kind of found themselves in.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you're talking about Wuthering Heights, which is the estate that Kathy grows up in, right? Catherine um and Heathcliff finds himself in as kind of a guest and then kind of a slave slash servant, um, and really grows up with that family. It seems like there are these walls kind of around it that you can't go outside of, and when you do go outside, that's really when so much of the kind of forbiddenness happens, right? Um,
Mhm.
there's such a richness to those vast shots. I don't know how they did it. I don't know if this was shot on location. I'd love to know that. I need to go there if it is, because it is so stunning. But the production quality, I think, and the set design of the spaces where they are children growing up together, are really like exactly like you said, like almost a prison or a cell or just a very confined space. And
Mhm.
so when they are free outside, that is when their emotions are able to be free as well. And I think that that symbolism is really important, because of most of the turmoil that happens is this inner turmoil of like forbidden love and or doomed love or the idea of betrayal and how that happens inside a person rather than outside, yeah, out in this vast world that is happening around them.
Mhm. Yeah, and we see that a couple of times, both kind of in the town that they're in, and then kind of these neighboring properties. But it kind of bookends with their relationship really nicely, as they're both kind of trapped in this like I don't know if it's like a guardhouse kind of a thing, trying to escape the rain, which Heathcliff walks out into and then returns back so they can consummate their love, kind of in that sense. So that was one of the things that I was really drawn to, and obviously you get the song here from Charlie XCX. Is that how you say that?
I'm
I'm an
hoping
old
so.
dude.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. But that song's really awesome. We're probably going to talk about it again come next Oscar season. But it plays a part in the film, which is really interesting because it's almost like this like montage of this like torrid like love affair that they're having, kind of as they're reunited, which is interesting. It was also probably like one of the most like expensive like 2 minutes of film because obviously you're paying for that song and then like every like crazy amazing like incredible outfit that Margot Robbie is wearing like in the trailers like happens like in this like 2 minute thing, like they had to like set up like entire like sets and extras and all this stuff just so you get like a 4 second glimpse of her in like some very like fancy dress that costed $100,000, which is pretty epic. So that song is great, but I thought that the score was like shattering. The score was amazing, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, there's a scene when she's in her wedding dress and she is distraught. She's not excited, right, necessarily. And she's walking by herself to hit her the next door, which is called like Thrushwood Grange or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. I don't even know if they say it in the movie.
Hmm.
But she's walking there and she's about to be married, and the dress is stunning, her veil is stunning, she's stunning, and yet the song is like this sweeping, like destitute, like just over indulgent, emotionally, like just um, like a dangling thread of emotion. And I've thought the score was just amazing. The scene that you're talking about, where it's like this montage of them being together, I mean, it was like anywhere in the 1700s where you'd ever want to bang. Like it was amazing. There's like a waterfall. There's a coach. Obviously, they got to do it in a
Your only
coach.
options were like a really short bed or
Right. Yeah, because didn't you sleep like sitting up back then? I don't know.
yeah, something like that. Something like that.
But they make the most of it. They do make the most of it. I just thought the yeah, the score was really amazing, and then even at the end, when Heathcliff is in the open again, and he is uh, riding as fast as he can back to Wuthering Heights to be near Catherine. It's that piece is so heralding to me
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
I mean, it's there's so much. I'm gonna screw it up. It's probably not even drums. It's some type of percussion, and it is just resonating through your body as well as you're watching it, and you're
Hmm.
like seeing him in this very small enclosed shot, but you know that he's on the side of this freaking cliff, and
Yeah.
you're just like willing him to get there faster. It's amazing in that
Yeah.
way for sure.
Yeah, the score was really good. Obviously, it was shot very beautifully. It looked great. The costume design was great. The hair, makeup, Margot Robbie's hair looks pretty amazing kind of throughout. But I don't know, like having not read this, I guess I didn't have any sort of like preconceived notion as to what this was going to be, other than I knew that Wuthering Heights was this wildly like popular, like 200 years on or whatever,
Mm.
almost 200 years on at this point. So I knew it was like this gothic romance, but beyond that, I don't really know anything about it. One of my takeaways from it was like as we sat down and like the movie starts, I'm like, I feel like I probably want to read this. But as we were coming out of it, I was like, I don't know if I really want to read this or if I want this to be my Wuthering Heights. I don't know. You have read it, I believe.
I have.
So what was your takeaway? Did you have like preconceived like notions on like what you thought this was going to be, or did you know that Emerald Fennell was like a mad woman who was going to like go off the rails and like completely make this her own thing? Also, on a side note, we also saw the trailer for The Bride of Frankenstein, or The Bride, I guess it's called,
Mm.
which is this retelling of The Bride of Frankenstein, which is a sub-story from the original Frankenstein book. And that doesn't really look like it has anything to do with what happened in the Frankenstein novel, on a side note.
Nope, but I'm still gonna watch it. Look, I knew it was going to be a much sexier version of the movie, right? Or of the story. The story is not this torrid affair. It's not Lady Chatterley's lover, right? It is not.
Mm.
It's supposed to be a very emotional look at these two people who grow up together and seem destined to be together, yet destined to never be together. And so I loved that, Emerald Fennell just dove right on in there, right? I mean, that is what this story is about. It is very different than the book. But I don't think you're necessarily worse for not seeing it. I think that this is the part that everybody who reads the book hones in on is this affair, this love affair. There are things that
It's the
happen.
part you play in your head, probably.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And when you think about when someone, I mean, even the name Heathcliff, when someone says, "Oh, they're my Heathcliff," that this representation is what you're thinking of, is this longing to be together, this like getting back at each other because you're not together, and how to regain that somehow. And it's real messy. And it's messy in the book, but in a very different way. It's just so I thought this was really great. It didn't bother me that it didn't follow the story. I think that it was good that the Wuthering Heights was in quotes. And I think that if you spent time in prep of watching this movie and you listen to Emerald Fennell, she never claims that this is the book. She says, I loved the book. I wanted to honor the book, but this is definitely kind of its own story. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people, we've talked about it before. We've seen a lot of remakes that we thought were really interesting takes. We saw, the new Crow, the rebooting of the Crow. We saw a
Mhm.
Running Man, and I think if you're just holding on to the old story and your mind isn't open, then yeah, you might not enjoy this. If you don't enjoy looking at very erotic things, you're probably not, this is not going to be your version. But I like all that stuff. So I thought it was great.
That's right. Keep your pearls to clutch at home, probably if you're inclined to do that. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, she did. She mentioned, her love of the book and probably reading the book, which is, something that, millions of people have done now at this point, except for myself. Um, but yeah, I mean, any of the other like discussions that she ever had about it were just like these other like love stories that she kind of wanted to incorporate or how she like interpreted
Mhm.
them. And if you look at like the list of influences, there are a couple of movies that we've covered here on the podcast, which are very, kind of non-traditional tellings of very, very traditional love stories. And one of the ones she mentions here is Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992, a film that we covered, a film that Michaela likes a lot. And the film that I'm bringing forward to talk about today is Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet from
Yeah.
1996, which is about as, far off of like a retelling as you can get, and kind of wild, and like how it did that, how it told like the same story, but completely different. This was one of my absolute favorites of the I guess of I was calling them like romantic like cinema or like romantic like
Mm.
movie films, because we've
Hmm.
talked a lot about rom-coms here on the podcast. Obviously, Wuthering Heights, there might have been a chuckle or two, but mostly it was hoping Michaela could breathe as we were leaving the theater. So romantic comedy it was not. So we wanted to focus a little bit more on just tried and true like romance stories, gothic romance, romantic tragedy, that kind of a thing. And Romeo and Juliet is certainly, the precursor for all of those things. And this was a reimagining of it here from 1996, and it's a version that I really really love. Great soundtrack, some great like young up and coming actors, and
Mm.
this looks great. It has that Baz Luhrmann like energy that still resonates to this day. I don't know, Romeo
Hmm.
and Juliet, I love it. Love
It,
it.
it's great. We have never covered the I think it's Roberto Zanini. I'm probably saying his name wrong, or Robert something with a Z. But the one in 1967, that version,
Mm,
which
okay.
is what I grew up with. It was before this Romeo and Juliet. Um, and I got to tell you, they're both very different, but I love them so much. I mean, for different reasons, right? This version of Romeo and Juliet, again, it doesn't it breaks away from some of the story, but surely not all of it. Um, but I think that it was so cool to be able to really capture an entire world and still have this story. And I think that's one of the reasons why Wuthering Heights, Romeo and Juliet, some of these stories that are hundreds of years old have continued to capture an audience because that love is and that the story of people being in love is something that just never seems to leave us as society, thankfully.
Mhm. Yeah, because it makes it timeless in a way, right? Because Romeo and Juliet, obviously, my fairy
Mhm.
tale in Verona or however it starts. I'm no English major here, but like if you keep remaking it and keep doing it like in that setting, like then it becomes less timeless. But if you can take that story and be like, no, they're on like Long Beach or whatever, Venice,
Mm,
California, and tell that story,
yeah.
then it becomes timeless. It becomes a story for everywhere that can,
Yeah.
stand the literal test of time in the case of Romeo and Juliet, and in the case of Wuthering Heights, like I said, nearly 200 years old now that film. So Romeo and Juliet, we have one that is much nearer to release time right here, as emotional. For Michaela, we've not talked about it on the podcast here, but past lives. It's another like tried and true. And it has a lot of parallels to Wuthering Heights. After having seen Wuthering Heights and kind of this, intrinsically tied like your heart to someone, and kind of not necessarily like the toxicity of that because that was part of at least this retelling of
Hmm.
Wuthering Heights, but certainly like the angst and like emotional like turmoil and like almost like acceptance of that you have to come up with at some point.
Yeah. Yes. I can't talk too much about it because I literally
Michaela wanted to put
sorry.
this on here, by the way, and I
I
warned
did,
her
I did,
against
I
it.
did, I did. It was like, no, I don't know. It's like you're not going to be able to breathe talking about this podcast. Um, yeah, I think that the idea,
I'll get the
especially
picture off
when
there. That'll help.
that'll help me. I think the idea that the childhood love, like the love you felt as a young person, so many people who have grown up as adults
Hmm.
talk about how that love is never like you never loved like that again, and there's a whole psychosis of why perhaps, but I do think that this both of them do have these really beautiful these beautiful ideas around like loving someone as a child, watching them and growing up with them, and then having it
Hmm.
not be and still having to exist and move on, and knowing that they're also existing and moving on, and that it's not going to work this time,
Hmm.
and at least in past lives they think that hey, maybe someday in another life, or in the next one we'll figure it out. Spoiler warning. But it feels that feeling is very much prevalent in this version of Wuthering Heights, and I think
Hmm.
that's what people really love about the story. Because probably a lot of people have felt that in their day, where it's the one who got away or whatever. Um, but
Hmm.
it Past Lives is so great. I mean, and it was up for Best Picture. It didn't win, but Chloe Zhao, I think, was the director.
Celine
Um,
Song directs.
sorry,
Uh, yep.
Celine Song was the
Celine,
director. Oh, Chloe
Celine Song was
Zhao.
the
I'm
director.
sorry. Sorry.
Celine Song was the
Um,
director. Greta
and
Lee
she,
stars in it.
yeah.
Who's also in the
Tron Ares.
what is Tron Ares? She's in
Yeah.
the show with Seth Rogen that just won all the Emmys. She's in that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean it's definitely worth someone's time. It's a slow burn and there's a ton of subtitles in it. But I think that also adds to the idea of a golden story that t stands the test of time and can be told in any language, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, and it has a similar kind of backbone, like structure to it, right? Like these kids are young and inseparable at a young age, and then they, kind of are forced into going their own separate ways, kind of sort of, not necessarily forced here in this telling of Wuthering Heights, but they end up going their separate ways and they come back together as adults and have this, kind of, deep emotional tie that they've had, since childhood that they have to, sort of work their way through as they get back into adulthood. So yeah, kind of some similar things there, and actually I think kind of some similar things here. One of the films I wanted to talk about in terms of love stories, at least for me, if you couldn't tell, the Star Wars things I got back here in my new room. The first thing I did is put up some Star Wars stuff, but Han and Leia here in The Empire Strikes Back, really through the Star Wars saga, and I think that was just kind of one of the storytelling like mechanisms that George Lucas did as like a lover of film and certainly would have known on that and played a lot on kind of these more historical like Gone with the Wind type of like romance stories here for both Han and Leia and for Anakin and Padme as the prequel trilogy is more of these kind of like throwback like romance stories. It wasn't a romance for in the case of The Empire Strikes Back, 1980, or the late 90s, early 2000s for the prequel trilogy. But same kind of a thing. Like they feel intrinsically linked. They have like this kind of desire to like one up the other and to kind of like pit themselves against the other as they're kind of working through this emotion. And then obviously goes on to be one of the great sci-fi love stories of all time. I have tea towels that have I love you, I know on them because it transcended a love story. And Star Wars at its heart is a space opera, and part of that is because it has such strong like human connective like storytelling, right?
mhm.
It's beyond, it's not just a sci-fi movie, it's this whole space opera. So that was one I wanted to talk about. And then Michaela, you had one more here. Let's go ahead and talk about this. This is kind of an invert there of the picture, but we have the Notebook right there. It's that Ryan Gosling in the
There
rain.
is.
Ryan Gosling. We got Rachel McAdams. That's who that is. They're kissing in the rain. There was a lot of rain in Wuthering Heights. There's apparently a lot of rain in the Notebook. Spoiler: I've never seen the Notebook, so take it away.
Okay. Well, so I only saw this movie once because that's all my heart could take. I will say, this is routinely considered like one of the best love stories of all time, which is
Mm.
interesting because
Hmm.
it's very formulaic in the same way that um, Past Lives is, the way that Wuthering Heights is. These are kind of first loves, and then 10 years pass, and what happens? And then you see things that happen way later than that, when these two people have grown up very, very old. And do they get together? Do they not? And the idea of moving on, even though you have these really deep feelings, and being able to kind of either put that aside, or if you give into it, and let it become your identity. I mean, I think that that is something that's real special. And I think the idea of loving someone enough to really just let them go is really special. We don't see that selfless kind of love in Wuthering Heights. It's much more toxic, I think.
Hmm.
But I think that this shows you, and in Past Lives, and even in the Empire Strikes Back, right? There's a vulnerability there to let someone hurt you by being their own person.
Hmm.
Um, and going away if that's what they really want, is just really letting them go, and quietly just kind of existing on your own and loving someone from afar. I think that that is um, pretty epic in storytelling, and I think that's
Hmm.
why this is still considered. I mean, so many people love this story.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
the
that's
only Nicholas Sparks one that's that I've seen a lot of Nicholas Sparks movie, and I have to say this one was good. But I mean, one time was enough. I was
one.
just, it destroyed me.
One and done, one and done. I mean, that's why Han sacrifices himself, gets frozen in carbonite, because he
I
had the
know.
assurance that Leia was going to be okay. That's why he did it.
That's
So
right.
those were a couple that we wanted to talk about, and then I wanted to talk about this list. So there was a list of top 50. I think this was dated in 2024. I couldn't really find anything that was newer than this because everything that was newer had either like it was just like new movies or like something that was this far back. So I'm trying to
Mm.
see if I can get myself moved over here out of the way. All right, so we've got this coming from variety.com. So we've got number 10, Going with the Wind. Okay. Number 9, The Umbrellas of Cherbourg from 1964. Do you know what that is? I have no idea what that is.
Nope, but I'm gonna watch it tonight because I've never heard of it.
That's a one and done on that one for Michaela. Brokeback Mountain, of course, 2005. I'm guessing that was a one and done for Michaela right there, as was Ghost from 1990, number 7. Brief Encounter, 1945. I don't know that one either. That's a little bit
Ooh,
before my film history, so I have to check that out. A Star is Born, 2018. On a side note, A Star was Born, I think like the 1970s one
76.
was was on the list as well. I think there's a third one too, but I think only those two made the list.
Yeah,
The
the
other one was
first one
apparently
is nine.
terrible. I don't know.
No, no,
So,
no. Oh no, they're all great. Let me just get on the. I know we didn't want to. I'm just going to say this. The first one was in like 1942, I think. It's a
yeah,
black and white
something like
film, and
that. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really good. The second one was Chris Christopherson and Barbara Streisand in like
Mm-hmm.
1976,
Yeah.
and it's pretty hot, pretty racy. And then this one where we get to, yeah, it's awesome. Very
It's
sad, but
awesome. There's good song in it, so that's
there's a good
good.
song in it. There's
Um,
a couple of good songs.
yeah, I think only the latter two made it. I don't think the original one made the list of the top 50 if I remember correctly as I was reading through it. Number 4, more Baz Luhrmann here, Moulin Rouge. So you got the right director, but the wrong movie. Come on, Variety, what are you even talking about? Moulin Rouge is pretty good. Number 3, To Catch a Thief, also something I've not seen, 1955. This is just telling me that I need to see more old movies, Michaela. A film we've covered here, Titanic, number 2, 1997, and agreed, Rose and Jack, the best of all time. And the number 1 romantic film of them all is, of course, 1942's Casablanca, which is a film that we've covered, and rightfully so, because it's not only the best romance film of all time, it is one of the best of the best.
Yes, it absolutely is. I don't know. I think it's interesting how in almost all of these, I mean, there's a lot of selfless love there. And I'm really happy to see that Brokeback Mountain made the list because I don't think enough stories of othered people. Like,
Hmm.
we
Sure.
don't see a lot of, we don't see that enough. And so I'm glad that it made the top 10 because I think that when you have all these emotions, right? And you're having this selfless love, or you feel torn apart because of social status, or because your parents hate each other, or whatever the case may be. I think there's an added piece to it if you are also in a community that is othered some way, right? Whether it's
Hmm.
racially,
Right.
socioeconomically, from a sexual identity perspective. And I think that it would do the world good to see that piece and how that affects people, and yet doesn't affect love stories, right? That
Hmm.
you can have some very deep love, and in a way that we've never seen it before, and that it just because it's not something that we're used to seeing or understand, that it's no less valid and real.
Hmm. Yeah, love is love is love. So let us know out there what you think about varieties. Top 10 list. Like I said, I think that came from 2024 there. So obviously there's been some films that would have maybe made the list in the last 2 years. I don't know for sure. Maybe Past Lives would have been on there in the top 10. But that came out in 2024, I think. So I don't know. I don't know. So let's go ahead and take a look at some fan submissions because we've got a couple feedback here from the Facebook and the Instagram. So I wanted to go through these here if I can figure out how to bring those up. Let's start just right here. It's a good one. Julia Roberts, Hugh Grant, Notting Hill. VC Van Meter says Notting Hill. It's a good one. That's a good love story, right?
Mm. Hmm. I'm just a girl looking at a
Just
boy.
just a girl looking at a boy
Yeah, yeah,
in a
yeah.
rich part of London.
In a very rich part of London. Um, is it bad? So I like this movie. I don't love it.
Mm.
My favorite part is Hugh Grant is this bookstore owner, and his best friend is like terribly unlucky in love, and then you find out why because he has these terrible t-shirts. They're so great. I mean,
Yeah.
it says you're the most beautiful woman in the world in the back. Then it's like, fancy me? Like, do you want to, and I won't
Hmm.
say it because this is a kids show too. But but yeah, that it's a good mix of like fun and humor and like a testament to friendship as well as, love can find you even if you're a bookstore owner.
I like that the
Julia
movie
Roberts
post.
will still love you.
I like that the movie poster is just like Julia Roberts, like LinkedIn, like headshot, and then Hugh Grant is just walking in all aloof as he is known to do, especially in
Mm.
that particular time
Yeah.
of his reign at the box office. We've got Chris Sorrentino, friend of the pod, says My Bloody Valentine, 1981, not the remake. So to preface this, I did say what was your favorite Valentine's Day movie, and My Bloody Valentine, probably a good one. It's a slasher. It's not something I've ever seen. I think this was actually made in Canada. I think it's a Canadian film
Mm.
actually,
Mm.
and they did remake it in like 2015 or 16 or something. I don't
Did
know.
they? All right. I don't remember the
Generally,
remake, but I do remember this
generally,
one.
generally speaking, if you remake a horror film, it's probably not that good, and that's probably true here because he specifically says 1981, not the remake. Have you ever seen My Bloody Valentine, Michaela?
I do remember seeing it back in
I don't
my
even
like
like this
probably high school
poster.
days.
Ugh.
It looks terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's in a mask. It's weird. No, it's good. I don't remember much about it, but I remember it happens at like Valentine's Day, the way that Halloween happens on Halloween.
Yeah.
And
I,
so
I
there's
think
that
it's
piece
I
to
think it's
it.
a guy that gets like mad at people that are celebrating Valentine's Day, which is
Yeah.
kind of Grinchy. If there's like a
Well,
Grinch, they should have
I
How the Grinch
bet there's
Stole
a
Valentine's Day.
backstory that
Let's do
breaks your
it.
heart, like in the movie Prom Queen.
I don't know.
Okay. No, Prom Queen's amazing because there's a whole backstory about why the guy picks prom night to kill all these people. And I bet it's really sad. And I don't remember what it is, but I bet he like lost the love of his life
I don't
and now
know.
he's getting revenge or he's
I
just
feel
going to
like
make everybody else's
I
day
feel like a
terrible.
slasher movie from 1981 probably did not have that backstory that you're so desiring. But I bet that the new one probably did have that backstory and it was terrible. So that's why Chris says 1981, not the remake. Chris, let us know if there's a good backstory there, why he's doing the things that he does. I think maybe this gave birth to that Hard Eyes that came out last year. That thing was
Oh
terrifying
gosh.
looking. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got right here. Why is my picture all jacked up there? That's okay. We'll get through. We've got The Princess Bride and definitely maybe. This is from Don Rogers, I think, is who sent this one in. So that's pretty good. Princess Bride is a film that we covered. Definitely maybe is not a film that I'm particularly familiar with, but it
Oh.
looks like it has Ryan Reynolds there is in it.
Hmm.
So that's good. That's good. Have you ever seen Definitely Maybe, Michaela?
I
We're both
have.
on
I
record as
have.
saying Princess Bride is probably the best movie of all time. So
All time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely maybe great. It's a good father-daughter film as well as a good like love story film because it's a little girl asking her dad about all the women that he's been with, and he tells it kind of takes you back and tells the story of how, it's kind of like How I Met Your Mother, but not. It's pretty good. I really like it. I would say it's definitely in like the rom-com
mm,
space.
yeah,
You
for
know,
sure, for sure.
it's hard to
John
compare that
Bainham,
to
I
Princess
think.
Bride. Dawn Bainham. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Dawn.
I totally misspelled that. I can't read it. My screen is too small. I broke
That's
it. I
okay.
busted it.
But Princess Bride
Yeah.
is amazing. It's got everything, right? It's got fencing, fighting, revenge,
Battle of
betrayal,
Wits,
true love. It's got a
True
giant in it, a
Love,
bona fide giant in it. It's got a
got an actual giant,
miracles. It's amazing.
miracles. It's got yeah, Miracle Max, and that cocktail. That was like the best cocktail we ever
Oh
made.
my gosh.
That
Yeah.
was so
That
good.
was
That was
so
so good.
good.
And then we have one more, which is good because it does harken back to our story right here. But going with the wind, there you can look at that poster right there. Same poster as the
Yeah.
Wuthering Heights poster. Wendy Johnson Law says this one right here, going with the wind. One of the favorites there. I've never seen Gone with the Wind, Michaela, and I keep trying to set aside 10 hours to watch it or whatever, however long it is. But I
Yeah,
keep
it's
struggling.
five.
I keep striking out. I keep striking out on finding that much time to watch it. But I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
Yeah,
I need to do better.
we
February
should
is my
watch
is my
it.
strikeout month.
Yeah. Well,
I strike
yeah,
out. I strike
after the
out on Valentine's
Oscars.
Day movies. Yeah,
I
that's the
mean,
problem. I got
it's
too much
interesting
I got too
that that
much
is
other
considered a
sad,
love
terrible things
story.
to watch.
Yeah, yeah, no.
It is. Yeah,
After the
look at him right
Oscars,
there.
maybe,
Clark
we
Gable,
should.
Vivian Lee, Lay.
Yeah, Vivian Leigh. It's interesting because there's a bunch of love stories in this movie, and it's interesting. It's interesting because it is one of the best films of all time for a number of reasons. The shots are really amazing. Um, it would probably be a little difficult to talk about, which is why I've never put it on the podcast because we're two white people, and it's very much like during the Civil War, and so that's kind of a whole thing. But the
Mhm.
love stories are good. It's worth your time watching for sure. But yeah, you do have to carve a good 5.5 hours
Look at
out of
that.
your life.
Same
It's the
exact
same.
pose.
It
Same exact
is
pose. Looking
absolutely.
good. Looking good
It
right there.
is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. So I think that's it. That's it for Valentine's Day because I'm out of my cocktail. So,
Oh.
Wuthering Heights, Michaela. Did we take away anything? Are we interested in rewatching this? Are we interested in watching more Emerald Fennell stuff? Because absolutely, I am. I'm very interested to go back and rewatch. I don't know if I'll probably rewatch Saltburn. That takes a special kind of day to watch that. But to rewatch Promising Young Woman is something that I've meant to do for a long time, and now I really want to do that even more. Especially knowing that Margot Robbie was one of the producers on the film. I think that's pretty awesome. So
Yeah, no, it totally is. Look, I really liked it. I really liked it. It hit that part of me that I wanted it to hit. Like it was very adult, and I wanted it to be very adult. I was fine with that. That didn't bother me. I really wanted the focus to be on Catherine and Heathcliff, and like how how that love was so passionate it just kind of consumes them, and neither one of them can really survive it. I
mhm.
really love that idea. I mean, it's hard to watch because there are some things that happen where you're like, oof, they make terrible choices. But I did really love it. And I would totally watch Saltburn again. I think Saltburn is incredible. There are
Saltburn's real good.
three very divisive scenes in it that you can fast forward through if that kind of sexual stuff is going to bother you. But that being said, it's amazing. It's so well written. It's so different. It's so new. I mean, there's a reason why she has gotten Oscar nominated and won for, best original screenplay because the stories she tells are just different. They're so original. I mean,
Mhm.
and Promising Young Woman, I think it's seriously one of my favorite movies of the last like 5 years. It's so good and it's so important to watch. There are
Mhm.
films out there that are entertaining, and then there are films that are like good to watch. They're hard, but they're really important for you to watch. And this is both.
This did
Like
both. Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
so good. It's so good. So yes, those are my
Yeah.
thoughts. What are
Those are your
your
thoughts?
thoughts?
My thoughts are Wuthering Heights, 5 stars, no notes. It was incredible. I liked it a lot. I would really like to see it again. Probably, I would really like to see it again in IMAX because it just looked staggering and beautiful. And like I said, the score was incredible and pumping out of the speakers, like it sounded amazing. The
Yeah.
dialogue was incredible. I felt that they had a lot of good. I saw people saying they didn't have good chemistry. I was like, "What are you even talking about? Did you even take chemistry like in high school? Did you fail chemistry? Is that possible? It's possible." I don't know what that's all about. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was incredible. I loved it.
You
So
need
yeah,
to see
definitely.
it sometime without me because I really was trying to be
Yeah.
quiet
I
as
mean
I was like
the
going.
last 20 minutes I'm just hearing Michaela just like sucking up air like out of the room like trying to like keep herself alive for the last 20
Ooh, dear,
minutes.
I'm
It's pretty
sorry.
bad. Yeah. Heathcliff thought he was in a bad place there the last 5 minutes of the movie. Michaela was really in the bad place the last 5 minutes of the movie. So yeah, it was amazing. I liked it a lot. So yeah, hopefully out there if you are interested in seeing it, you get to go out and see it because it is playing at your movie theater right now. It basically made back its budget here. It's opening weekend, so that's good. There on that end, we'll see how that does. We've got a couple of things coming out here over the next couple of weeks, and then obviously we've got Oscars coming. By the time this goes live, hopefully, it should be, go to drinkthemovies.com and you can enter our Oscar pick'em. My goal is to work on that this week. Again, behind the scenes, I am moving, so I don't know if I'll be able to do that. But go to drinkthemovies.com anyway, bookmark the page and just check it. It'll be up there sometime. Hopefully this week by the time this goes live, or if not this weekend sometime. So check that out to get entered into our Oscar pick'em. That's like the best time of the year. Oscars are the best time of the year. here around Drink the Movies because we get to do our pick 'em, we get to watch all the Oscar films, we get to put together a prize package, and then we get to see what everyone picks and thinks about the Oscars. So that's pretty good. So check that out, and you can let us know what you thought about Wuthering Heights, what you thought about the Variety Top 10 list, what you drank, if you drank anything good for Valentine's Day. Let us know that on our social medias. It's at Drink the Movies on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Facebook.com/Drink the Movies. Go to that website, drinkthemovies.com. That's where you get written recipes, episode recaps, pictures of the cocktails that we make, links to Drink the Video Games, all that stuff. Again, that is drinkthemovies.com. And if you want to get behind the scenes stuff, bonus episodes, hangouts, cocktail chats, we're getting ready to start recording our 10 mini episodes about the 10 Best Picture nominees.
Hmm.
I still have one to see, so don't hold me to that. I'm planning to go watch that after we finish recording today. So we're going to get those going out to our patrons on Patreon. Patrons, you're amazing. Patreon.com/drinkthemovies. Michaela, this one was a video version of the podcast, so people could watch it on YouTube or the video version on Spotify. But if they don't want to, check that out there, where else can they find the podcast?
You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us anywhere where Spotify podcasts are supported and distributed. We normally do 2 drops a week here at Drink the Movies. If this is your first time seeing us, we're so glad you're here. Welcome to the party.
Yes,
We
welcome.
do 2 drops a week, right? One is like this. It's a deep dive talking about one specific movie and a cocktail that is kind of inspired by that movie. And then we do the Lobby Bar, which was Brian's invention. And we talk about the box office and all things that are coming up, whether it's movies, series that we're excited about, things like that. And that's not all, folks. Wait, there's more. We also have Drink the Video Games, which is routinely written up as like the top 5 video game podcasts for video
Mm,
games. It's insanely amazing. And even if you don't like
thank
video
you.
games, you should go check it out because Brian does an amazing job. I pop in for a cocktail. But it is so neat learning about the history of these things. And, there's so many movies that also were video games. So there's a really beautiful kind of, I don't know, melding of the minds there. It's really fun. So you should go check that out.
That's right. And we're doing a double feature coming up here in just a couple of weeks. So yeah, check out
Hey,
Drink the Video Games. Thank you so much for that plug. I'm really excited about the new episode that I'm working on right now. So yeah, thank you so much for checking that out. And thank you so much for checking this out. If you're loving these video podcasts, they're a lot of fun to put together, but let us know if you have like a topic that you would like us to cover. Because the last two we've done kind of like a partial movie and then gotten into, kind of some stuff like peripherally kind of about that movie or kind of the genre. But if you have something in particular, like a movie topic or a certain movie or genre or, a director or anything you want us to talk about, drop us a comment down there. Hit us up on social media. Let us know because we'll probably record an episode about it because that's just the kind of people we are. So, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in here. This has been episode 256 of Drink the Movies. I've been Brian. Michaela has been Michaela. And this has been Wuthering Heights. Happy Valentine's Day. My glass is empty, but cheers to all of
cheers.
you. And we'll talk to you next time on
Drink
Drink
the
the
movies.
Movies. That was pretty well done. That was pretty well done. I named him Heathcliff so I can do whatever I want with him.
How would you betray your own heart? Oh.
Oh my God, Michaela's gonna start crying. Stop the stream.